Hello, I'm Randy Rose, curriculum resource teacher at Middlesboro Elementary, and this is Shelia Smith. She's our director of instruction. We left our teacher leader in the building teaching today, and the focus that we have in our problem of practice is novice reduction. And I think we're kind of all in the same boat there. But we're going to take a team approach to this, a shared leadership approach to this in our building, and here's what we've done so far. We've started off with our data. We've got quite an elaborate data wall. We've used K-Prep and STAR scores. We use that for our screening. And we've targeted over 100 third and fourth graders that we really, we want to focus on all of our students, but these are those students that we have got to make an extra effort for. We've come up with what we call Pick 2, for lack of a better term, is pretty much all the way down from cafeteria staff, custodial staff, every teacher in the building, every instructional aide has sort of adopted two of those students and given at least 30 minutes per week to pull that child sometime. Might be having lunch, might be during a special class, it might be during recess. And just sitting down one-on-one, working with skills, and that way we are going to target over those 112 odd kids that we do have. We've got that underway, and the students really love it. They're making connections with that teacher that they haven't seen since kindergarten. We asked the teachers when we kind of had a draft. We selected those students that we wanted to work with because of the relationships that we might have had years before, to reconnect and catch up with that student and let them know how important that they still are to all of us. We're also doing a Helping Hands program, which is sort of the same thing, but we're volunteering our time to go into classrooms. The teachers know we're coming, so that for that hour of your class, what do you need? Do you need an extra set of hands? Does a particular student need me to sit next to them? Do I need to scribe? Am I going to help out my special needs teacher? Sure. So it's sort of an all hands on deck approach that we're taking to novice reduction. We've implemented Kagan learning for our cooperative learning, having our students do different types, student-led, student questioning, and that seems to be off to a good start. My principal, Dr. Maxwell, and I have been doing a lot more walkthroughs, being visible in the classrooms, looking for evidence of Kagan and things that we've been trained on, but sometimes as the year gets started and things kind of get back to the old routine and what feels comfortable for me as a teacher. So we're kind of there. And when we find that is happening in this classroom, but maybe not as much in this classroom, we're providing time to bring groups of teachers during their planning to maybe see this teacher do the opening of her lesson. Maybe see how this teacher is using Kagan in this classroom. And by bringing in a whole, like a group of 4, there's probably a teacher in that group that I really want to see someone else doing this. But when I bring the whole group, they all get to see it. So that way we're not necessarily singling out our teachers and saying, you need to go see her. Another thing, we're going to be attending the PDAS, which in itself is... It's a shared leadership blueprint. We're going to pinpoint areas that we really want to attack our novice situation. That starts in large group, and then the focus narrows down to a data group, and then that focus will narrow down to a CSIP group that can really dig deep and try to get to what we want to do with our students. We are also a Leader in Me school, and we have been for 4 years now. And one of the things as a Leader in Me school you need to do is have that student lighthouse team, something that we haven't done as of yet, but that is also when we were at Natural Bridge, we started with that idea in mind. Hey, this shared leadership, this is a great year, student lighthouse team. But now, with novice reduction, we can also use those students and have their input. How can we better help you? And Ms. Smith's going to talk a little bit about the selection of those students for the student lighthouse team and how we're going to make that work.
We're also going to use, we identify leadership in 4th grade, and that is top grade at our elementary. So we're going to use those kids as well, and they're identified by their peers. So those kids, and when we get the Lighthouse team, we're going to sit down and meet with them on a regular basis and talk about what's working, how do you learn best. We're really looking for the Kagan engagement strategies that the teachers have been trained in, and also we're implementing the QFT in our district. I also took a kid to mentor, and the kid I've got is a 4th grader. And I've told them I'd take another one, but so far they just gave me one. I am part-time. I'm retired, part-time. But anyway, I got a kid that she's a very, very bright kid. And her problem is probably home life, attendance. We have a real high poverty rate in Middlesboro. People don't realize that we have multiple housing projects. Over half of our kids do not live with their parents. They live with grandparents or someone else. We have a pretty high, you can count those as homeless as well. So we have a high rate. So those kids just need extra attention. So the little girl I'm working with, I'm going to be working on focusing on attendance, and you know, she loves to read. She's very smart. We had a great time. And I think we talked about things she liked, and so we're going to work on a goal for her. And I think that's what all our mentors are doing with their kids.
So that's it for us. We'll try to move along unless there are any questions. Yes, ma'am?
How do you manage the pick two? How do you manage that in your schedule? What schedule things?
It's teachers giving up planning time. It's
Like 30 minutes a week.
What about the classified? How is that scheduled or rolled out? You said January.
they come to us, and we help them make that time during the day. Yeah, it doesn't have to necessarily just be pull out this, that, but we're making every effort to just make that happen. And there's going to be some conflicts, because if my planning time and I come to your classroom to get my student, but it's math time and I want to pull that student for math, then we have to work together and think of a different time. We don't want to have that happen. So it's a work in progress, but we really want to get everybody on board with it.
Do breakfast with them. I mean, there's I'm trying to get everybody in central office to take a kid as well.
Mm.
2 quick questions. How many of the children in your school are part of the mentorship program? And secondly, does it extend to things beyond just academics?
Yeah, yes, it does. I talk about, with my student, I'm focusing on attendance with her. Like, you know, I talked about what she likes. And our principal, Dr. Maxwell, said, you cannot buy them things. Don't buy them things. Okay, because every mentor cannot buy things. We don't want to put that on them. But she stressed to me how she likes art, and how there's this little art kit at Walmart, and it costs $19, and she's saving her money. And I said, well, you know, if you don't miss a day between now and Christmas, that might just show up through the Family Resource Center, you know, not from me. But anyway, so we do talk about them with other things. And I already just met with her once, and I know her family. Her mother works at Goodwill, and she gets her clothes from Goodwill. She was telling me all that. So, it is a relationship where that kid can look forward to meeting with you weekly.
Within the context of mentorship, do you track achievement outcomes or anything to see how this?
We are going to, yes, we are. We have a really good data wall. Mr. Rose has done a fantastic job with that. And when we put that wall up and we saw how many kids were novice and at risk, it was very scary. And so that's why we're doing multiple things with them. This is one of the things that we're doing. And the teachers, I have to say, we've not had any complaining. I mean, it was pretty much, we're doing this, and everybody's just jumped on board so far.
Thank you.